Hello beautiful disc golfers and welcome back to MDG Media. We are here for first Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Series event in Europe this year. Konopiště Open, this is round 1 back 9. Front 9 is on the channel already. If you didn't watch that, please go ahead and watch that first. My name is Elias Luukkonen here in the studio with Mr. MDG Maxime Tanghe.
Hello again everybody. Let's get ready for the back 9. How do you feel about the first 9 holes?
First 9 holes, we didn't particularly see the hottest of rounds from our card. Niklas is 4 under, leading the card, and everybody else chugging along. You know, under par through the front, that's the minimum you want. If you're not under par, you're doing something seriously wrong. It's one of the easier courses on tour. And let's see, the back 9 should be filled with birdies, although a couple of the first holes are a bit trickier, but I'd say the last 6 are birdie or die, almost.
I will agree with what you're saying, Elias, and let's head to hole 10.
Hole number 10. The thing with this hole is that the shot itself is quite easy. It's a 112 meter sidearm or a turnover. But what makes this hole slightly tricky is that you have 2 mandos which you have to fly in between of. And if you yank your forehand a bit, you can easily miss the left mando. I'd say for this level of players, they should be always putting inside the circle on this hole. But if something goes wrong, I'd say the most common mistake actually being hitting that right side branch. Because on the right side of the gap, you have a low ceiling, you really want to push it out to the left and turn late. Whether backhand or forehand.
Yeah, and I will say that missing the mando is quite tricky. You don't think about it, you just throw and normally everything will go okay. The only real danger is that branch you were mentioning to me. And this is slightly overturned for Jakub Semerád. This is gonna be a long look for birdie as he needs.
A lot of backhands on this card. I really love the shape of Niklas on this hole. Beautiful fairway driver, understable fairway driver there. Not too slow for the low ceiling, but not too fast to blow past the basket. Beautiful angle control.
Yeah, perfect shot from Niklas. Ooh, this is low again for Timo, but good skip and good ground reaction. And a birdie look from distance, probably C2. As Niklas and Paul are heading to the green.
On the right side of Jakub, you can see the drop zone if you happen to miss the mando. That's where you go for your par putt. And great run there. He's not going to be happy. Great run doesn't really make you feel that great on an easy hole.
Not too bad of a bid. Too low. And Paul to go 4 down.
Very solid. Expected from Paul Ulibarri. Still hitting that 90% inside the circle putts this year. And Niklas just a tap in. Everybody is pretty knowledgeable about his 2 putting styles at this point. Going with a pitch putt from close and spinner putt from far away. About 8 meters being the threshold. Usually under 8 meters goes with a pitch. Over 8 meters goes with a spinner. And there we go for the card. Couple of birdies. Hole number 11. This one might actually be one of the trickiest holes on the course. In fact, the second hardest by scoring average. 281 meters. Off the tee, you're playing slightly downhill with the left to right slope. You just want to throw something distance driver with a bit of a flex as far as possible. Try to take all of that glide. And then you have a choice. Do you want to go around the left side of this big tree in front of the basket? Just like the drone is playing, that would be a forehand or a backhand roller. Or nowadays, the tree has opened up on the right side where you can actually throw a right-hand backhand skip shot around the right side of the tree. 2 very good options here on the approach.
I'd say the best option would be the right side now. It's open. If you manage to be left side, as Paul is, it's a bit short, but she should be able to have a look to go around on the right side.
This is a bit overturned if it doesn't come back. That's a problem on this hole. I'd say you'd rather want to miss left than right, because as usual on these right turning holes, if you're at the inside corner, you usually have much tighter of an angle compared
This is
to...
smoked.
Yeah, this is far. And it's left. Perfectly left. Not too far left where he doesn't have a short approach. I think he's gonna have about 115 from there.
Yeah, something like that. And open to the right side. Very nice drive. This is a bit high. This is an aggressive line. Oh. Not able to miss those branches. It was a very nice drive. Maybe a bit too high.
A lot of power from Timo there. I think he's definitely the longest thrower of the card here. Everybody else being more of a control player. Let's see if... Is he laying down the roll or is it just a turn?
Yeah, this is a roller. It's hard to see the disc. The camera up was struggling to see it. He's gonna be around C2.
And the forehand here, being on the right side of the fairway, makes it even trickier to reach the basket with the forehand, as you have a very severe turn at the end. Though that's pretty good. I'd say that's almost the best case scenario with the forehand.
Yeah, a very good shot from Timo, I'd say. And as you can see, Paul going for the right side. Maybe slightly early. Nope. Good distance. He's probably going to be disturbed by the branches.
And this is the ideal line to me. Just right side of the branches, take your skip. Not the biggest skip, unfortunately, but still in the circle.
Yeah.
You can see that big drive from Jakub really opening up the angle to go around the tree. I think that's the most important thing about the drive, is that you get it far enough where you have options.
And Niklas loves them. We were looking for that highlight. Not the best bid. It's gonna be, should be an easy par.
Similar miss from Timo. Let's see, how about from inside the circle here? Paul and Jakub both with tricky putts.
Slightly high, aggressive bid. I'd say good line. Deserved better.
Yeah, Jakub has been putting a lot inside this off-season, as Paul also doesn't make it, unfortunately. I've noticed on Jakub's Instagram stories he has been playing a lot of putting leagues in Finland and winning most of them, so his putt definitely has been good in the off-season.
So it looks like we are going to have a par frame.
It's a pretty common result on this hole. 60% of the field taking a par. Once again, it's not the hole you're gonna bogey a whole lot of the time, but just because it's slightly more difficult to birdie than most holes on this course. That's why it's one of the only 2 holes on this course playing above par. And the second one is coming right here, the most difficult hole on the course, hole 12. I'd say the only course, or only hole on this course, that you might even be expecting a bogey with a bad shot. The drive is going to be a turnover with ideally a mid-range fairway driver or even a putter. When I hit it high through the gap, or you can even go for a hyzer forehand. Try to get somewhere in line with this FPO to set up your straight approach with a fairway driver to this green. You have a nice little upslope here, so if you get over the OB pond, you can throw it pretty hard into the hillside and not really go that long. I'd say the OB water is the biggest issue here. You can easily hit a tree or hit a branch on the approach and drop in the water. And also, it's a pretty specific shot off the tee to get to the perfect landing zone. Want to get it high and turned, but not too turned where it actually glides to the right.
Not sure where it landed. Looked decent. Slightly overturned. This looks better from Niklas. Higher. When this is gliding. This is gliding too much. Really rare to see somebody going that far. Yeah, this is also a bit too much angle. Low. But still in the middle. I think he will be 30 meters away from the pond. Quite scary shot if you want to reach the basket.
This is inside. Easy to do with forehand because you want to be inside. You can't really push the backside with a forehand because you hit the far side tree very easily. And from here it's all about laying up. He wants to get his disc somewhere where the sun is shining. So that would be a good place for the layup.
He's flying. He should be okay from there. Not entirely sure where he landed.
Jakub actually has a really good angle. It's a far shot, about 115. But look at this angle control.
Beautiful shot from Jakub.
I think that's the best shape for Jakub. He can throw that overstable disc flat or even slight anhyzer if he would like.
Oh, this was a very scary line from Paul. We didn't see it clearly, but he kicked left.
Niklas getting really aggressive with a kneeling forehand. Needs to get over the pond. And he has done it. Impressive shot from the knee. I think he had about 100 to 105 meters to go.
Very controlled shot from Niklas. And Timo in an ideal position to attack this approach shot. Barely inside the circle, not the best. But still has a chance to save the par.
Looks like Paul was on the short left side of the pond, and that's gonna be a tricky putt for bogey now, I believe.
Yeah, because he was not OB after the second shot, after the kick. Okay.
Looking
Aggressive
like a
high.
double.
So if he was not OB third, fifth, it's gonna be a double bogey. Niklas not able to capitalize. This is important for Timo.
Oh my god, that's ugly. I actually saw this putt on the live broadcast and couldn't see it from that angle, but he was quite middle, definitely going through most of the chains.
This was a perfect shot, perfect putt to me. And Niklas was very much on the left, good catch. And a double bogey indeed for Paul. And just like that, Paul and Jakub are tied. And there we see Nestori with the hot round. Peter Lunde from Norway, 12 down, very clean also. A lot of double digit rounds.
In January 2026, MDG Media is heading to Senegal for a mission unlike any before. Not just to film disc golf, but to build it from the ground up. We will create the country's first ever disc golf course, visit local schools, donate discs and baskets, and share the game with communities ready to discover it. Through every step, you will be right there with us, thanks to a full-length documentary and live updates on social media. This is not just a one-time trip. It's about spreading the disc golf spirit and making a lasting impact. We truly believe that our sport can help make the world a better place.
And as you just saw, we officially launched our crowdfunding for the Senegal project this winter in 2026. So if you want to help, just go on the QR code and you will be informed about how to help us. Thank you for that, hole 13 now.
Very cool project and very cool hole here, hole 13. It's a pretty one, very aesthetic. Not the most difficult hole. This is actually starting the 6-hole stretch on the back 9, which you would really like to come out of with 4 or 5, ideally even 6 birdies. It's a straight shot, left to right slope. You can usually throw a slight turnover backhand here to match the slope of the hillside, or if you have a touchy forehand, you can also do your forehand flat to hyzer shot. Jakub pretty much showing the perfect shot, like the angle, like the release, like the height. Very much expected the same from Niklas here. And once again, beautiful angle. This hole is actually not with the right hand, right-hand backhand, but with the right-hand forehand it's quite aceable because the hillside usually pulls you towards the right side. So there was a couple of aces on this hole in practice, and wouldn't be too surprised to see a couple of those in the tournament as well.
That's what we are wishing for, and a very low line left side for Timo, unfortunately. And this is what we are looking for. Great control from Paul. 5 meters away to recover after the 2 strokes he lost on the previous hole. There is a couple greens like that on the course. You don't really feel the slope, but slightly downhill. You need to be careful with the base control, let's say, from your disc. And Jakub drains this one again. 3 down, 2 in a row.
Little comebacker from Timo, dead center. Yeah, I very much agree with your point there, and I think this course does the design element of creating downhill putts really well. I feel like usually if you play your shot well to a spot where you're trying to play it, I feel like you more often have a slight downhill putt compared to an uphill putt.
It is something you need to be aware, I think, while you're practicing. Before the tournament starts, you can work on being right located, let's say, around the baskets and the greens. Hole 14 now.
Hole 14, continuing the easy stretch. Long hole, 256 meters. The drive is gonna be playing slightly downhill though, so you're once again gonna get that little bit of extra distance. You wanna throw something that hyzers between the left side woodline and this wooded island on the right side of the fairway. So ideally a hyzer shot with something glidey and stable off the tee. You wanna get yourself into a position where you're left enough, where you have a hyzer shot into this green. So ideally the approach is gonna be the simple part. Drive, not too difficult, but you have to make sure to not go too long and also not hyzer too early into the left side woods.
This is early, unfortunately. Not sure if he went through. If he stayed inside those woods left side, it's gonna be hard to go for the basket. And therefore for the birdie.
This is a good looking shot. You can see he's perfectly in the middle of the gap. And even that shot, he's not quite as far left as you would ideally like, but it really doesn't become that much of a problem if you can just throw something flat and stable through the gap.
And same kind of shot from Paul, a bit further. Still not left enough to open up the right side on the second shot. Full hyzer line. And this is more of what we are looking for.
Yeah, that's ideal. It's really ideal on this hole. And from Jakub's position, you can see that even with an errant drive, you still have a look to get somewhere down there towards the basket. Kneeling forehand. About 40 short. That's actually where Niklas made a huge putt just 2 years ago on this very course. I believe he made a putt from 39 meters on this hole.
Bit too much turn on this shot. Still inside the circle. 8-9 meters. To go 7 down through 14. Timo looking for birdies. He's even after 13 holes. Which is definitely not what you are looking for. This is a good shot. 5-6 meters.
Yeah, a good birdie there to get 1 under, hopefully with a good putt. You're right on the difficulty of this course. If you care about ratings, the rating to get just 1000 rated on this course is going to be 4 under. So all of these players being 10-20, 10-30 rated, they need to be shooting at least 7-8 under to match their own rating on this course. So judging by that, everybody is playing slightly below their own level. Though Niklas in good position here, he still has a chance to shoot 11 with a perfect finish. And once again, a weird reaction from the basket. What happened there?
Twice within 3 holes. What would you say in Finland? This happens. Thanks.
Kiitos Jussi.
Kiitos Jussi.
Jussi being the former CEO and owner of Discmania, I think the saying comes from the fact that, if I'm correct, Jussi was the person who brought these disc catcher baskets to Europe and branded them with the Disc Golf Park logo. So it's just a little joke that Finnish people tend to make if a disc catcher basket spits out.
And Uli with a good bounce back, good reaction after the double bogey. 2 birdies in a row to be back, to get back to 4 down. Let's head to hole 15. Beautiful one.
Beautiful, satisfying flight off the tee here. Par 4, 228. Once again playing sneaky downhill with the right to left slope. So you can actually bite off around 150 meters, even with a fairway driver, if you hit it on a nice angle here. Want to throw something straight? Ideally with just a straight finish. You really don't want to finish too far left because of that left side OB that was added this year. It comes into play very fast. And on the approach, if you're more right side of the fairway, that actually opens up a forehand hyzer to the green. But if you're more left, it's more of a backhand touchy putter shot. Really anything that you can control the distance with on the approach.
A very satisfying drive. I think it's the perfect word to describe this tee shot. And this is in danger. Out of bounds for Paul.
Pretty big mistake on this hole, not only because you're out of bounds, but also very much near the OB line. There are some low-hanging branches that actually don't really allow you to save your par that easily. So if you go to the left side OB, you're double punished with the OB stroke and also having a really difficult approach. So even though Timo's shot was not ideal, I like to see that mistake of going too far to the right. Same thing for Jakub here, and actually with a good skip he can still get to the fairway. Which that is a beautiful, beautiful shot, really showcasing his skill of throwing those overstable flex shots.
This looks good. Keep the turns. Oh. Fading early. And staying in bounds. Early release for Timo, still okay. He's gonna put from C2, 13-14 meters putt coming.
And as I mentioned, Uli with a really difficult shot here. He usually has great forehand touch, and even that shot being too difficult for him there, he's gonna have an easy bogey, but not much of a run for the par. On a hole that you really would like to at least have your par, ideally have the birdie, as 46% of the field are birdieing this hole.
Decent approach from Jakub with the tester. Coming also. Same for Niklas, around 8 meters.
Beautiful weather we had in round 1. The practice days a little rainy. Round 1 bringing in the sunshine with maybe just a couple drops of rain at some point. It's not the warmest weather. You can see all of our players are playing with that long sleeve shirt. But nothing to complain about.
Oh yeah. Quite interesting round for Timo. 2 down only. I'd say his putting stroke is pretty solid, even better than that. as Jakub misses the chains on his birdie putt.
Big right side miss as Niklas makes a solid putt for birdie. Getting to 7 under, still has a chance to shoot double digits, which I'm sure he's shooting for much better than 10 under, but 10 under would be a solid start to the tournament. And there we go, good par putt, not letting the right side miss get into his head.
Fortunate mistake on the drive for Uli. Our lead card, especially Niklas, needs to take the last 3 holes if he wants to have a chance to be chase card at least tomorrow. Lead's gonna be hard. Hole 16 now, par 5.
Taking the last 3 is not going to be that tricky, especially with this hole 16 being a very birdieable, even eagleable par 5 for the longest throwers. We don't have the longest throwers on our card, so most people going for the birdie. You want to get out of the gap with a straight 110 meter shot off the tee. On the second shot, you have once again a very satisfying maximum distance shot with your distance driver. Turn it over with the hillside, hopefully fade back, and give yourself a 50 meter approach. Really, this hole is mostly about the drive. After that, it's mostly about the second shot. And if you have done 2 good shots off the tee and on the second shot, you're gonna have such an easy approach that you should never really miss it. I'd say it's a pretty soft par 5.
Yeah, the most important shot is from the tee. Especially hit that gap, go out of that tunnel, and you should take the birdie. Turning early, not sure if he went through.
I really love this first shot for Niklas.
Oh, this looks really nice. Come on.
Perfect. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly what you're looking for.
Too far left, but actually it's, once again, not a bad spot. If you have an angle to throw that turnover distance driver on your second shot, you're not going to be too mad on this hole. And Paul as well, beautiful shot through the gap. And let's see some big shots here. Jakub, hopefully trying to go full power, a bit higher than this, ideally. Never mind, it was overstable enough. I thought he turned it over, but once again you can see the disc choice of Jakub Semerád, going with the more overstable disc than most people would.
I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to have a look from there.
Paul here, just trying to flip it up flat. It's a good flight. He's gonna be on the fairway, about 90 meter approach from there. I will say the one tricky thing about this approach can be that if you're further out where Paul is, you have a low ceiling to contend with. But throwing a shot like this, as Niklas has done, that's gonna allow for an easy birdie from there.
Beautiful shot from Niklas. Probably able to have a look for eagle. Long look though.
Let's see, I'm quite interested to see what sort of shot shape Paul chooses here. You're going more of that hyzer line, trying to skip it at the end, and once again, beautiful touch. He played this hole to perfection according to his game plan.
Yeah.
As we're looking at Niklas's eagle look, 35 meters. We have seen him make many of these in the past. Not this time though.
Should be an easy birdie, as it is for Jakub and Paul. Timo with a long look to take the bird.
Not quite to be. But talking about long looks, there was a particular player in the field who had a long look for eagle here. Was able to make it, Ezra Ederhold being the only eagle of the day on this hole. I saw how he played it through a big turning tee shot through the gap, a big distance flex to about 12 meters and made the putt. That's how you play this hole in perfection. Of course, all of these players, besides Timo, are gonna be very happy with their birdies.
Eight down for Niklas. Not too bad of a round if he's able to take the last two. Hole 17, super uphill par 4.
For sure. This is way more uphill than it seems on video. The 175 meters requires one full power shot and one about 60-70% shot for most players. Want to throw something straight, avoiding the left side OB on the drive. Ideally a distance driver. If you throw further, you can throw a fairway driver off the tee. The second shot plays really well for a turnover or a forehand hyzer. Once again, especially on the second shot, it's so much uphill that it's usually very hard to go long. So even though there's OB long, that almost never comes into play. Love the stability of this shot. It's better to go understable with the uphill and OB left, as your disc is gonna naturally act more stable.
So both Paul and Niklas very much on the right side. Not the best putt, I would say. Same for Jakub.
Do you think they're a little bit scared of that left side OB, or how are they making all of the same mistake?
I would not be able to ensure this 100%, but it's weird to see them on that right side. Very nice drive from Timo. Let's see now. Big Enheiser shot. Enheiser line for Niklas. Very good shot.
Lovely.
6-7 meters. Careful, not green though.
Yeah, this might be one of the scarier greens on the course. Besides hole 4 with a huge drop-off, of course. This one is the biggest slope on the green. And look at that. Jakub not gonna be worried about putting there. I love his angle. Honestly, I think the turnover shot here, it's slightly more technical. As you can see, is the fade out with that uphill slope. But it's just so pretty when you get it perfectly down.
And as you can see, Timo very comfortable on that approach as his drive was smoked. Paul with the lonely C2 putt.
Yeah, not quite. This hole, every time I see this hole, Niklas doesn't tap in for the birdie.
Oh,
That's gonna be a comeback putt from 10 meters.
maybe a bit less.
Yeah, it looks like just about 7.5, 8. Very uphill though. Good
Oh.
comebacker. But as I was saying, this hole always reminds me of 2016 Konopiště Open. It was the very first year I started playing. One of the first videos I watched from disc golf being Konopiště Open 2016 back 9, where on this hole there's some very exciting action, and if you have the time, I would highly suggest you check out at least last 2 holes of the round. It's a big battle between Paul Macbeth, Simon Lizotte and KJ Naibo. As our card, couple of birdies, couple of pars, moving to hole 18. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful finishing hole. Not gonna create a lot of scoring separation as far as bogeys. The scoring separation here is really between a birdie and a par, as there is not much OB to be found unless you go very far left. Shot plays downhill, 136 meters, it's just a dead straight shot. You have some room to shape a hyzer or an anhyzer release. Can't really swing it wide as the branches get tighter and tighter near the basket. Ideally, I would love to see some straight putters or straight approach discs on this hole, released pretty flat, and just try to land them flat.
Seems very clean. Very good shot from Jakub for his last birdie opportunity of the round.
Nice release from Timo. Let's see if it finishes in time. And just barely does in the circle as well. If you're wondering how these players are going so easily long on this 136 meter hole, that's because same slope as we played up on the last hole. Now we're playing down.
Solo from Niklas. And again, a slightly scary downhill putt to finish his round. Oh, this is high.
Let's hope it's slow and understable. Looks like it is. Still
Okay.
fading out a bit. Easy to do on this hole.
Yeah,
Let's see.
better result than I thought when the disc was released.
No run for the birdie there from Niklas. He's not going to be happy with 8 under. It's one of those rare courses where 8 under doesn't even put you in the top 10 after round 1.
Oh, wow. Great way to finish. 5 down for Paul. As you mentioned, it should be around 1010 rated round for Paul. And a better finish for Timo after a tough round. 4 birdies out of the last 5 holes.
It's a huge difference on this course being even par or 4 under, as so many people are right around that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 under mark. So you're still in position to play a good score in the tournament, although if you want to win the tournament, you definitely need to be shooting double digits every round.
And voila. Mauri Wilman from Estonia and Nestori Tukanen with a 13 hot round. Peter Lunde and Henrik Hagman will complete the lead card tomorrow. Pretty interesting card today. Was tough for some players, but still some cool action. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you, Elias. And we'll see you guys on the second round of FPO tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.